Hi, everyone, and welcome to Light Code Portal, sponsored by Light Language University and Circle Insights. I'm Jeannie Mills, Assistant Dean of Education for Light Language University, and with me tonight, I've got Anna Noyce, the founder of Light Language University and Circle Insights. Sorry, it's live.
It is. It's okay. Hi, Jeannie. How are you?
Hello. Well, that's kind of how my week's going. The topic for this episode tonight is Akashic Records. So,
one of my favorite topics.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the questions. The very first one, what are Akashic Records? Good place to start.
So the way to define the Akashic Records are every thought, word, deed, action, or breath you've ever taken since the conception of your soul. So that's kind of a soul, but that's kind of a trick question because your soul's always existed, right? So that is that's a lot of lifetimes. And it's past, present, future, and parallel all happening at once. What's exciting is we as an individual, as we are projecting out in our light language, which is our spirit anatomy, physical body, energy, thoughts, all of it, that's all a part of us. And we're projecting that's being recorded in the Akashic Records. And then in other episodes, I know we've talked about the monad. So the monad also is recording the past, present, future all at once in the Akashic Records. So we have access to these wonderful records that we want to learn more about ourselves. We want to learn more about our lessons, our karma, our dharma, all these wonderful things. And most people like to think of the Akashic Records as a library. It's just easy to think of a library. So walking into a library, talking to the record keepers, they're like librarians. And can't say the word. And they help you out. You can ask questions. And each person has a room in these records. So you have books, you have scrolls. Some people have movies. It's just an amazing place to go in and really learn. And not just about yourself. You can learn about the earth. You can learn about the stars, because I see the stars behind you, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. You can learn about plants. You can learn about other people. You can learn about relationships. The sky's the limit. So I always tell my clients, think of a candy shop. And the candy shop goes on forever. It never ends. And you can have anything you want in the candy shop. So make sure you know what you're going for, because it can be one rabbit trail after another.
Oh, yeah, I can see how that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, and we do have a few questions tonight, but we would love to hear from anybody out there that has a question. Please post the question and we will add it. Anna will answer.
Absolutely. Yes.
Who or what created the Akashic Records, and what was the reason for creating them?
Well, so we as human beings, we like to have a beginning and an end. But when we look at time, it's more like Pythagoras kind of gave us the circle, and it's always happening. So if you think of creator, you think of us as souls, we've always existed. So the records have always existed, which kind of blows our mind, as human beings, because we always like to have a beginning, middle, and end of the story. So they just always were and always existed like we have.
Yeah, it's something, it is very hard to wrap your head around and to really understand it. So that's a good reason to take Light Language 101.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, is the Akashic Records for all entities or just for 3D humans?
Everything is in the Akashic Records, and that's a good question. So we actually, in the beginning, I was talking about, we go back into, you can look at the land, you can look at everything, planets, energy, sparks of light, water, elements. It's like the candy store that's unlimited. So everything is included. The trick here with Akashic Records, now every human being is a part of the Akashic Records. We're always pulling in information, whether we're aware of it or not. You are not ever disconnected from it. You may shut it down and say, nope, I can't get the information, but you always have the ability to access it with a single thought, or bring it into consciousness. The trick is to be aware that you have that access.
Oh, okay.
Know what questions to ask because it's unlimited again.
Why should I consider accessing my Akashic records? How can they help me as a human?
I like that question. Okay, so we know with the spirit anatomy that we have portals that are opening up, bringing in these different lessons. And sometimes as human beings, we get stuck in these lessons and we don't know where to maneuver or we don't know why. And when you're working through, and we teach this in 101, we also teach this, I think, and you're kind of over the, my brain's not wanting to work too. Medical intuitive, thank you.
But it's a class that you can take after Light Language 101 and 102.
The prerequisites. Yeah. So, so there may be something in your as you're learning about medical intuitive that we're learning that might be the root. And in medical intuitive, we're always looking for the root because if you can find the root, you can pretty much shift the karma, change the lesson, and move forward into the next lesson or whatever that next place that you want to go to. So yeah.
Okay. I feel like accessing the Akashic records is kind of like cheating. Were the records designed for use during our incarnations?
Absolutely. So I like, I think that's funny. So cheating, yes, you could say it's cheating, but it's not. Everything, and I think that's something we've learned too. We put limitations on ourselves. So when we're looking at the Akashic records, we're really looking at everything that's out. It's unlimited and everything's accessible. So the only thing that makes it cheating is if we decide that it is something that we want to create, bring to us as cheap, but it's not. Use all the tools that are accessible to you to raise your frequency, move into the next level of ascension, to open space, to hold space for others, to be that unconditional love. And we're also a part of everything, and everything's a part of us. That's that fourth level of consciousness that we talk about in 101, is that we're part of everything. And that's that creator energy that we're all part of and participating in.
Oh, okay. Here's a question too that I've wondered about, and I guess I've never asked. Who or what is answering my Akashic record questions?
Okay. Well, I like that because the record keepers are like the librarians. Then also we have our guides. You have your spirit team. And then there's also masters and teachers on different levels. And so if you think of it as a library and there's different rooms, but let's say that those rooms are actually different dimensions. Are there different frequencies of those dimensions? And when you go into it, the masters or the teachers that are there or the record keepers that are in those different rooms are the ones that you'll ask the question and they come in and answer. What's interesting is a lot of times we get into frequencies, which are different rooms on these different dimensions, and they don't speak a language that we understand. So it may come in as pictures, it may come in as sacred geometry, atomic language, which is the atoms moving. So like a glass of water, I think, oh yeah, a glass of water. This may be all atoms. You may not see it in like we see it as a collective and what we've created or helped to create. You may see it as just movement of energy. And that is a language in itself. So that gets more into how light language is also every thought, word, deed, action, or breath that we create because they're all intermingled. They're all part of one. Does that, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Should I say my question out loud, think it, or write it down?
Doesn't matter. Because again, it goes back to, and that, yes, it goes back to where we are and how we communicate and get that information. But it doesn't matter because everything is connected.
How will the answers to my questions change from day to day, or will they?
Okay, yes, yes. So we know in Light Language 101 with Spirit Anatomy that chakras are moving and we have emotional bodies, we have all the etheric bodies, and everything's working together with the different energy systems. And when you go into the records and you are all maybe wonky, I'm going to use the word wonky, you're not going to be able to hit those higher frequencies to ask those questions that you may want to answer from, because those gatekeepers, we call them gatekeepers, are standing at the door and they're not going to let you in. Because if you go into that frequency and you bring it down, it's going to really kind of do a number on your, it can put you in ascension flu, or it could put you in like a healing crisis. So those gatekeepers are not to be mean. They're actually there to be there for you, to protect you. And once you are able to align your chakras, are able to match that energy to go into those frequencies of those rooms to bring it in, then it's going to flow and that information is going to come in for those specific answers.
Okay. Well, and I know too that some of the things that I've learned from my own mistakes is how you ask the question, or exactly specifically what you ask of the question. It
Yes.
all totally changes the answer.
Mm-hmm. Because there's many answers, and we know, you're right. We know, like the tree of life, you may ask a question and follow it with this energy, and it's going to come into this answer. But if you collapse that time and you ask it in a different way, it's going to come into another answer. But depending where you are energetically and in your light language, how you're communicating in the records is how it's going to come. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So you need to change how you ask.
And specifically, again, thinking of the candy store, you need to know what you want, where you want to go, and align the energy for that to get that answer.
Okay.
So yeah, and and you know this because you've done the Akashic Records workshop that we do, and if you just ask a plain general question, you're going to get either a lot of answers or you're going to get a general answer.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, come on. I really wanted to know this. Well, you have to ask that. And then they'll answer directly to that point. So, yes.
Okay. What are ways I will know that the Akashic records are answering my questions and not some darker entity or my ego?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we know in 101 that like attracts like. So if you're in fear or you're in a lower frequency and you go into the records, you're probably going to go into some other dimension that's going to be a lower frequency. So it's really about doing your work. And we talk about it's like training your muscles. You've got to practice bringing the energy in, raising your frequency, getting your chakras. So the chakra balancing tool is a really good one to do the chakra balancing tool to open. In psychic surgery that we do, medical intuitive, the first thing we do, what is the first thing we do, Jeannie?
Bring in the light.
Power up. Exactly. So we're raising our frequency, we're shifting, making sure those everything's connected, the chakras and the etheric bodies, the meridians, everything's running. We're opening up the space, the light, and we're holding that space. When you're in, and it goes back, remember this. What is this?
The tone scale.
Yes. So when you do that, you raise your frequency into a higher frequency above the heart line. Therefore, none of the darker energies. And if you're in that range and you're going to those different dimensions within the Akashic records, you have nothing to worry about. And this isn't, you don't have to protect. You don't, we don't really teach protection. You don't have to worry about any of that because you've already raised your frequency and you've already set the tone of where you're going to go. So yeah, that's how you know. Basic light language 101.
Yeah. Who does not or cannot access my Akashic records and why?
Who does? Okay, I'm sorry. Read that again.
It says, who does not or cannot access the Akashic records and why?
Okay, who does not and cannot access the Akashic records? So everybody can access the Akashic records if they're conscious of it. They're actually connecting, and even if they're not conscious, they're still getting loads of information. We just don't realize we are. Yeah, there's nobody that's disconnected. Again, you have to think of the universe, and I like your what's behind you with the world and the
Yeah.
universe behind you, but it's all connected. So everything's a part of one.
Why would the Akashic records not give me an answer to my question?
Ah, okay. Yes, and we've run into that, haven't we? For several reasons. If there is something that is in your contract or something that you agree that you want to, an agreement or something that you want to learn, it would be, and you got the answer. It could, example, for instance, and I'm just going to make this up. Let's say that somebody was going to get out of bed and they were going to go across the street and they were going to get hit by a car. Now, if you knew that you were going to get out of bed and go across the street and get hit by a car, you may not want to get out of bed and go hit by a car.
Right.
It's not fun. But let's say that that's the scenario. But if that person ends up going to the hospital and then meets their future husband or future wife or the person that's supposed to cure something, or they become partners, then that would never happen if they know the outcome. So that would be one of the reasons why the Akashic records. Another one would be if you're infringing. So some people, if you go in with the intention to find information to use it against someone else, then the record keeper and the gatekeepers would probably cut you off, unless it is already written in the contract that that's something that that person and you need to go through. Then they'll access that information. So there's several reasons why they would shut that down. Yeah,
How are the records organized, and does the information ever move?
always. And the way it's organized depends on each person. So because we're like the human fingerprint and each person's different, how we access the records and how we read it is going to be unique through our flower of life, which is our map that we talk about in 101 of how we can access those records. And yes, they do move because we're constantly moving and nothing is in a state of stand still. So it's kind of like Costco sometimes. You expect to go into this room, but your vibration has changed, so you end up in this room to get the answer. I don't know about you, but when I go to Costco, I'm like, why did they change it? I'm looking for the dog food. So yes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they just redid our Walmart that's by here, and now I can't find
Can't find anything, right?
I mean, like everybody's walking around the aisles and stuff, and everybody's asking everybody, "Hey, have you seen? Do you know? Have any idea?" I mean, it's nothing is in the same.
Chaos, right?
They didn't even move things together. It's like, yeah, like they took it and went.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No rhyme or reason, exactly.
Okay, well, last question, Anna. Could darker entities ever get a hold of Akashic records information in order to cause harm to others?
No. And again, unless there was information for them to have that is a part of a contract, and that's a whole nother something we talk about. But in contract, no, there's no worries. And again, where you go in the Akashic records has to go back to that. What we talk about is the tone scale, and where you go in and no, yeah,
Okay.
no worries about that.
Okay.
But all very good questions. I like those questions.
They were good questions tonight. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I guess that's all the questions for tonight. I'd like to thank you, Anna, for being here. And for everybody out there that's watching, I appreciate that. And we've got some upcoming events. Let me get the list. First, we have this weekend at the Holistic Festival of Life and Wellness event. It's this Saturday, July 10th, at the Plano Event Center. It's at 2000 East Spring Creek Parkway in Plano, Texas. We'll be there from 10 to 6. And we have a new class. It's called New to All of It, New to All This. We have our first one on July 14th, and then we're going to do another one on July 28th. This class is designed for anyone who has questions and wants answers. Anna Noyce leads this lively discussion and will answer all your questions on awakening, light language, soul's journey, spirits, grounding, anything at all that you want to ask, Anna will answer. And to register for the class on the website at lightlanguageuniversity.com, it's a 2-hour online class, and the cost is only $35. So, and of course, there's more dates and stuff on the website too if those don't work for you. Next, we have a new group that we're starting. It is Light Language Study Group. The next 2 study group dates are July 20th and August 3rd. The study group is for students who have already taken Light Language 101 and Light Language 102. By participating in this group, students will continue their knowledge and understanding of light language under the guidance of an experienced teacher. And this is only $10, and it's for a 1-hour study group, so it's a really good deal. And of course, there's more dates and stuff on our website. We've got an in-person Light Language 101 class coming up at Miracles of Joy in Louisville, Texas. You can sign up on our website. It's July 24th and 25th. Then we've got a Zoom class coming up for Light Language 102 that is held on August 7th and 8th, 2-day class. Of course, you can register at lightlanguageuniversity.com. And we have Medical Intuitive Level 1 workshop. It'll be held August 21st and 22nd. This is for students who've already taken Light Language 101 and 102. They're prerequisites for all of our classes and stuff. And we talked about this a minute ago, but it's a great workshop to update your intuitive gifts and energy healing skills. It opens doors to a new understanding of how to maneuver in and go deeper into spirit anatomy. You can register on our website, lightlanguageuniversity.com. And speaking of Medical Intuitive Workshop, we have a Medical Intuitive Development Group. We meet twice a month, and we're looking for clients. So if you want us to work on you, you can sign up. It's $25, and there's a group of us that get together, and they've already taken the class. We will get together, and it's $25, like I say, for a 1-hour session. You can email Tanya Griffin at mail@lightlanguageuniversity.com. And our next Light Code Portal will be on July 21st. The topic is going to be long distance healing. Goes right with what we were talking. This is awesome. And this Friday night or Saturday morning, look at our Facebook, and we are going to be doing a giveaway, our first giveaway. So I'm really excited about that. So got to check that out. But be sure and check it out. Don't forget. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night and namaste.